Will yeast survive in high alcohol environments? Imagine trying to survive in a place that keeps getting more toxic the longer you stay. That's pretty much what yeast faces during fermentation when alcohol levels rise. Yeast is tiny but mighty, and it plays a huge role in making beers and brews. But can it really handle the heat when alcohol levels climb? Let's find out. Yeast can survive and keep fermenting in environments with high alcohol content, but only up to a certain point. Most brewers' yeast strains can tolerate alcohol levels around 12 to 16% alcohol by volume. Once the alcohol exceeds this range, it starts to become toxic to the yeast cells. Alcohol damages their cell membranes and messes with their metabolism, making it harder for them to grow and reproduce. When yeast is exposed to high alcohol levels, it tries to adapt by activating stress responses. These include producing protective molecules and repairing damaged cell parts. But as alcohol continues to build up, these defenses weaken. Eventually, the yeast cells undergo a process similar to programmed cell death, which is a natural way for them to die off when overwhelmed. This process involves damage to the mitochondria, the energy-producing parts of the cell, and an increase in reactive oxygen species, which are harmful molecules. In brewing, managing yeast health in high-alcohol beers like barley wines, imperial stouts, or other high-gravity brews is a big challenge. Brewers often choose yeast strains that can handle higher alcohol levels, such as certain ale yeasts or champagne yeasts. They also control fermentation conditions carefully by maintaining the right pH, providing enough nutrients, and keeping the temperature steady. Sometimes, brewers add enzymes to break down complex sugars into simpler ones, making it easier for yeast to ferment and stay active longer. It's also important to remember that, as alcohol levels rise, yeast viability drops. This means fewer healthy yeast cells remain to ferment the remaining sugars. That's why high-alcohol beers need careful planning, like starting with a higher yeast pitch or adjusting fermentation times. If not managed well, yeast can die off too early, causing stuck fermentations where the process halts before reaching the desired alcohol content. In summary, yeast can survive in high-alcohol environments, but only up to a point. Beyond that, alcohol becomes toxic and kills the yeast. Brewers who want to make strong beers need to pick the right yeast strains and keep fermentation conditions optimal. This way, they can push the alcohol limits while keeping the yeast alive long enough to do their job.